Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if it's your first time watching, welcome. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already so you can stay up to date with my latest foundation reviews. Today I am obviously doing a foundation review. I am doing a foundation review on the new Milk Cosmetics Blur Liquid Foundation. This foundation was recently released and it just looked like a really cool foundation. The foundation does have 16 shades. It does retail for $40. And as far as colorings, they do have a wide variety of shades. I will say though that when I was in the Sephora store, the lighting was honestly horrible and I could honestly not tell what shade I was. I put on golden light, light medium, medium, and warm medium on my skin, and for the life of me, they all looked exactly the same under that lighting. I will say though, when I got to the parking lot, I did put some of this on the back of my hand and it came out pink in the sunlight. So I'm honestly scared about that. But looking at it in video, it does look yellow, very yellow based. So I guess I had nothing to worry about. With that being said, this foundation is advertised as full coverage foundation. So we are going to be putting that to the test today. It is good for sensitive, normal, combination, and oily skin. So literally all the skin types. It is a matte finish. And what it is an ultra weightless full coverage foundation with an oil-free, silicone-free formula that lets skin breathe. So already that sounds amazing. Like, sign me up. I'm ready. And then what it does. Designed to make applying and wearing foundation easy. Blur Liquid Matte Foundation offers flawless full coverage at first swipe, leaving a smooth matte finish that looks and feels as light as air. It's supposed to minimize the pores in perfection using blurring microspheres, tiny powder-filled spheres that diffuse the light to leave a flawless soft focus effect. So I love that it's a water-based formula already, and I love that it doesn't have any silicone in it because, as y'all know, silicone does tend to clog pores. So I'm already amazed by that. So the Blur Liquid features an innovative airless tip to minimize air exposure and eliminate dripping, allowing your foundation to stay fresh, the colors stay true, and all of it to stay inside the package, not dripping all over your bag. Which that's amazing because sometimes I find that my foundation tends to oxidize inside of the bottle, and if you need some references, guys, Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation. I freaking love this foundation. It's amazing. It's full coverage, whatever you want. It oxidized in the bottle. Now, if you look at this, it looks really, really dark. I have to shake it up. But when I bought this, this was literally pale as fuck. I could not for the life of me find a good shade. And now that it's been sitting on my vanity for a while, it is like darker than when I bought it. So like I said, this is an example of how foundation oxidizes inside of the bottle due to the air exposure, etc. So that's something that I really think is really cool and really unique about this formula, because it's going to stay true to color. So that's amazing. Now, does it oxidize in your face? We'll find that out later throughout the video. This product is vegan, oil-free, gluten-free, silicone-free, and cruelty-free. And that's basically all that the website says. It does have vitamin E, which hydrates and provides antioxidant protection, but that's amazing, guys, especially living in LA. The air is so polluted here, so is the water. It's just good to have that. It's just so good to have that antioxidant skincare built into the formula so that you don't have to protect your skin. It does have bilberry extract, which provides antioxidant protection to support natural elasticity and suppleness. So that's amazing. That means that this foundation, even though it's a matte finish, it's not going to dry you out. So for those of you with dry skin, go ahead and give this foundation a try. And without wasting any more time, I'm going to go ahead and just go straight into the demo, guys. So keep watching. Okay, guys. So first things first, I'm going to be taking the Milk Blur Stick, and I'm just going to be applying that all over my face as a primer. I've already moisturized and did my whole daily skincare routine, and I'm just going to be swiping this all over. Okay guys, so I don't know if that's enough, but I basically put that all over my face. I don't really like the way this applies. It kind of feels like it's pulling at my skin. If you know a better way to apply this and if I'm doing it wrong, let me know down below. I have been using the Milk Makeup Blur Stick. I've used it like 5 times since I've got it in my gratis, and I still haven't found a way that applies it to my liking, but I do like the product. I just don't like the way it pulls on my skin. If you know a better way, let me know down below. Moving on to the foundation portion. I did get this in the shade Medium Light. I do have a damp beauty blender and it is clean, so I will be using that for one side of my face, and for the other side I'll be using a brush. The foundation does come in a squeeze tube bottle. It is supposed to keep it like airtight. It's supposed to keep it from oxidizing and keep it as fresh as possible. I'm just going to be shaking it up because, as y'all know, when foundation has been sitting on a shelf for a while, it does tend to separate. I'm not too concerned about because this foundation is relatively new, so it shouldn't have that case, but you know, you never know. I'm just taking a light right amount of the foundation. It does have like not a liquidy consistency, like it's not runny, but it does have liquid but still a creamy effect to it because it's not running down my hand at all. And for this portion, I'm just going to be taking my damp beauty blender and applying that to the right side of my face. And you guys know the drill. I'm just going to go in and start applying. So as far as coverage, it did even out my skin tone, but as far as covering up my dark spots or my pimples, not necessarily. As y'all can see, one side of my face I still have full of blemishes. The other side, everything is evened out. It looks good on camera. In person, it looks pretty good. It does have that velvet matte finish to it, but I can still see some of my spots peeking through. So just gonna move on to the brush portion of my face using it on the left side. And I am taking the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe brush, and again just squeezing some product out. I'm taking my brush and I'm just going to apply that to the left side of my face. So there you have the brush side. Overall, the beauty blender side looks so much more natural than the left side with the brush. However, the left side does have better coverage than the beauty blender side. But this foundation is buildable, so we're gonna go ahead and try to build the coverage. The foundation on their website is advertised as a medium buildable coverage foundation, but they were advertising it in some of their videos as a full coverage foundation. So I'm still confused. So I'm gonna try to build it up to see if we can get a full coverage out of this. Just squeezing out a little bit more, taking my damp beauty blender and applying that to the right side of my face. So there you have a second layer of the beauty blender on my right side of my face, and that actually does look a lot better. You know, it didn't conceal some of my pimples, obviously. I'm not expecting this to be a miracle foundation, but it looks pretty good, guys. Everything looks nice and even, and as far as skin texture, if you have textured skin, I feel like this is going to help with your skin texture just a little bit, but you might want to do some color correcting before you go in with this foundation in order to get like a smooth unison color, because where I have like 2 pimples right here, I can still see the slight redness to them. Which again, that is my fault because I should have color corrected. I don't expect the foundation to cover that up, but it did a pretty good job of even out my skin tone. The texture, it really helped conceal some of my texture, and I guess that velvety matte formula really helps to kind of smooth everything out, which I actually do love. This kind of reminds me of the Maybelline, the new Maybelline foundation that comes in a tube. I know I did a review on it. Kind of reminds me of that formula. And again, taking some more product, I'm going to go into the left side of my face and use a brush to build up the coverage on the left side. I will say, guys, that this side with the brush, it can get a little bit cakey if you do keep applying it with the brush. I definitely like the beauty blender side because it doesn't look cakey, it looks fresh, it looks like skin. This side, however, that I did go in with the brush, it is starting to look a little bit thick. Doesn't feel heavy though, so I'll give it that, but if I look in the mirror, it looks a little bit heavy. But again, a brush tends to kind of just apply the whole product, whereas a beauty blender tends to absorb a little bit and it kind of helps to melt it into the skin. With that being said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I finished applying the rest of my makeup. Overall, it looks pretty good, I have to say, if I do say so myself. I'm just gonna go ahead and do a flash test with all of my makeup on to see if there's any flashback or see what's going on. So as far as flashback, there's not too much flashback. I did use the Laura Mercier setting powder, so it does create a little bit of a white cast to it. The foundation definitely has more of a yellow undertone, as you tell in the picture. But overall, it looks pretty good. The coverage looks pretty good. You can see some of my texture though, which I'm not completely happy about, but what can you do? That's just my skin. With that being said, guys, it is 6:23 in the afternoon, and I'm gonna go about my day, and I'll be back in a couple hours to check back in with you guys to see how the foundation is wearing, so stay tuned. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's now 2:24 at night. It's been about 8 hours since I initially put on the foundation. So looking at the foundation, it's honestly wearing really well. I am starting to get really oily on my T-zone, but that's typically normal from any foundation that I wear, because I do have oily skin. With that being said, the foundation is starting to separate very slightly over here near my eye, like on both sides. Not so much in this little crevice right here next to my nose, which is typically where it tends to break apart, and on my chin. But that's normal because throughout the day I tend to grab my chin, so that could just be me from touching. Other than that, it's wearing pretty well. I will say though that my mascara is kind of transferring underneath my eyes, which is a little bit like, ugh, what the fuck's going on? But I will say that I'm not wearing waterproof mascara. I'm wearing the Perricone No Mascara, so could just be that. With that being said, I'm just gonna go ahead and blot using my Blotterazzi from Beauty Blender. And I'm just gonna take that and blot in the areas that I'm oily, which is literally my T-zone. With that being said, after 8 hours of wear, the foundation is holding up pretty well. I can't complain. This foundation isn't marketed as a long-wearing 24-hour wear foundation, so I'm perfectly okay with the way it is wearing. With that being said, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the claims, the pros, and the cons. So the claims. This foundation claims to be a full coverage foundation. Is it a full coverage foundation? Absolutely not. I feel like this foundation is a medium buildable coverage foundation. It is not a full coverage foundation. I feel like the only way this foundation would be a full coverage foundation is if you do have perfect skin. But if you're textured, if you have acne, if you have rosacea, whatever it may be, like myself, then this is not a full coverage foundation for us. This is definitely more on the medium buildable, and you can build it up to full coverage. I imagine you would have to do some sort of layering technique, such as foundation, powder, second layer, foundation, powder to get a really full coverage effect. But if you don't do that, then this is for sure 100% just a medium buildable coverage foundation. Moving on, the second claim that this foundation claims is a poreless smooth focus effect. Absolutely, I feel like the velvet matte finish of this foundation absolutely smooths everything out. It gives you a soft focus effect. It very much so gives you an Instagram filter-like effect to your skin, and I absolutely love it. I am 100% here for it. I think that foundations like that for us people who have textured skin, who suffer from acne, definitely need a foundation that's more on the velvety side, because that'll help to kind of create a smooth canvas, even if it's not. But it's all the illusion, and I am absolutely 100% for it. And the last claim that this foundation claims is a weightless finish. And I have to say, guys, I've been wearing this foundation for 8 hours, and most of the day I felt like I wasn't wearing anything. So I 100% say that this is a weightless foundation. So props to that. Now, the pros and the cons. The pros to this foundation, and I wrote down my little notes, is it's all for all skin types. I have to say, guys, that because it has a velvet texture, people with dry skin can for sure use this. People with oily skin, normal skin, combo skin, whatever it might be, even sensitive, you can wear this foundation. Why? Because it has that antioxidants in it to help really moisturize the skin and protect it from pollutants in the air. Whatever it may be, it's protecting your skin. So that's amazing because it has that skincare ingredients built into the formula. The next thing, it wears beautifully. Like I said, I'm wearing it right now. It gives me like a soft focus effect. I'm all for it. A really important pro is the no silicone aspect. So if you have sensitive skin, rest assured that you can use this foundation and you're not going to break out. You're not going to get any type of irritation. I have super sensitive skin and I haven't felt that all day, and that's amazing because normally when you have sensitive skin, you can tell the first hour or two that you're going to break out from something, and I don't feel like that's going to happen with this foundation. And of course, the velvet texture is amazing for acne scars. So if you have acne scars, if you have texture, this velvet texture is literally going to help resurface your skin to give the illusion of a smooth, perfect canvas. With that being said, let's move on to the cons of this foundation. The one thing that I will say about this foundation is that it does transfer. Literally, it was resting my face on my hand, transfer. Was resting on my pillowcase, transfer. Was resting my phone against my ear, transfer. So that's the only thing I have to say, and I did set this foundation with the Laura Mercier setting powder, which as y'all know is a matte setting powder, so it's a little bit more on the heavy side, and I still had transfer. So that's saying a lot about this foundation, but that's just something that it's either going to be a hit or miss for people. I personally don't really care. It's just something that I need to get used to the idea before I go and rest my head on my brand new pillowcase. With that being said, the second con to this foundation is that it's not oil controlling. But with that being said, this foundation isn't marketed as an oil controlling formula, so I'm perfectly okay with the fact that it's not going to be controlling my oil. But if you are more on the super oily side, then I recommend an oil controlling primer, an oil controlling moisturizer, something of that sort, maybe even just a setting spray to really help control your oil and make this foundation last longer for you. And with that being said, I definitely give this foundation a thumbs up. If you have not tried this foundation, if you're looking for a new foundation, if you have acne scars and you want something to really smooth out and create a smooth surface, then definitely give this foundation a try. You will not regret it. And with that being said, guys, that basically concludes today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do so. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And make sure you follow me on all social media outlets such as Instagram, Snapchat, and of course YouTube at DGAF Panda. And until next time, guys, CGAF Panda out.